Good evening and welcome to the LSRL F1 Round 3 live from Spa in Belgium. I'm James Parfitt, going to be here guiding you through all the action with the mighty team Biggles in the booth alongside me this evening. And what an absolute epic evening of racing we have got ahead of you. We go after very shortly, we go in to qualifying, which will determine the race, the grid for the 3-lap sprint race. We then go from there. From the results from that will take us in to the 25-lap feature with a mandatory pit stop. It is Spa, 7.004 kilometers, 4.352 miles, 20 turns of what plans to be an absolute epic race here this evening. We've got 18 cars on track, ready to burn it out in these W12s, and what more can we ask for after last week's race in Long Beach, where Steve Baker took the victory in the feature with Jay Smart in second and John Silver in third, who's not here currently, but he should be here very, very shortly. Actually, he is here, John Silver, so welcome. There you go, John, as well. Need to give a big shout out to Ryan O'Connor, who is at home in bed, hopefully, with a very high fever and not doing too well tonight. So good luck, get well soon, Ryan, as well. Hopefully see you back on track very, very shortly. But it's about time once again to bring the mighty Dean Biggles into the booth. Good evening, Mr. Biggles, sir. How are you?
Good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome along. The practice session is going to be over, and we're going to get ready for the Temple of Speed 2.0, which I would call Spa. Apologize for the iRacing saying that the track length is 6.93 kilometers, my friend. I've walked it with those little wheelie measure things. It's 7,001 or 2 kilometers, depending on if you're using the recent upgrades or not, and depending if you're taking the racing line or not. But that is the measurement of this track. The longest in the Formula One calendar, and certainly the one that all the drivers want to win. Yep. Get well, Ryan, please. So at least enjoy it there from your bedroom. And there you are for the championship standings there, if you'd like to go over it, please.
Steve Baker in first place on 32 points. Matt Miller in second on 27. Elliot Borg in third on 25. Ryan O'Connor in fourth on 23. Daniel Johnson on 21. Thomas Poniatti on 20. Then we've got Michael Kostick below that in 7th. Jay Smart 8th. Dylan Gonaz 9th. Lindsey Green in 10th. John Silver in 11th. Steve Rubens in 12th. Mason Sagar 13th. Zachary Kokos in 14th. Tyler Gatke 15th. Sean Atkins 16th. Anthony Giuliano in 17th place. Carl Herlix in 18th. Troy Banks 19th. Nathan Graham down in 20th place. And that is the final points scorer there. In the team standings, we've got Cobalt Racing in first on 53. Bull Shift Racing on 45. Burnt Rubber Racing on 41. Chi-Line Racing on 35. Scuderia Andromeda on 27. Broken Wings Racing on 25. Clutchless of Wales on 23. Where are you going? Come back. Victoria's Secrets on 20. And Blue Ballers on 9 points there as well. Well, Long Beach, well, it was a different kind of circuit than Spa. It was a different kind of race. There was incidents, there was action. It was just, there was a lot of everything in Long Beach last week. But Spa's a different entity altogether. So the drivers have got to, deal with a lot more of a different style of racetrack than Long Beach last week.
Absolutely. Well, Long Beach, of course, is a street circuit, notoriously for those walls coming out to bite you. Now, if the walls come out and bite you in Spa, that's game over. Absolutely. This is, once again, the Temple of Speed 2.0, and it's insane, the pace that you get. And also, it's not one of those just tracks that you're going to follow the leader. Those overtaking opportunities, if you can master Lacombe, if you can master Radion, not Lacombe, because master Radion and master Eau Rouge, then you've got overtaking opportunities in Lacombe. I don't know how many times you and I have broadcasted that before in the past there, James. Overtaking opportunities certainly there, especially with the DRS activation. And if you don't get it done there, you've got the bus stop and La Source to start another lap.
Yeah, that's one of the things they've got to look out for, that run through El Rouge Radion up the hill onto the Camel. Once you come off that Camel, it's just going to be full beans all the way through. And they are going to be using DRS a lot, and I expect a lot of overtakes to be happening down the Kemmel Straight down into Lacombe. We might get some down into the bus stop. It depends on how brave people want to be on the brakes. Everybody currently on the soft tyres, which is understandable because we are in quali. But I'm more interested to see how they handle this racetrack in conjunction with their speed, their ability, their overtakes. They've got to combine it all here. That's one of the things that Spa, really brings to the table, is their ability for the drivers to combine everything together here at Spa.
Yeah, it's jigsaw puzzle. Put it together, and Spa is yours. Not to mention, we talk about the DRS. We'll physically see the DRS down the Camel Straight. We're watching right now. I think that's Elliot Borg climbing his way up through a Rouge, of course. That's the Red River. The Red River will be flowing your blood right now if you don't get it all correct, but he certainly does down the Camel Straight. And then spotting his braking point right now in the heavy brakes into Lacombe. Not that heavy, of course. Drop a couple of gears, swing it over to the right, swing it over to the left. And at that point, he doesn't worry about defending. But I was going to go back to that point, James. There's ERS management on top of it. And that's what you have to do to defend against the almighty attack down the Camel Straight.
What would you do? Where would your deployment be of the ERS?
That's a good question. I'm not as a race driver. I don't know. It's insanely difficult. It's you as a driver under attack, you got to focus on your exit through a Rouge and a Radion. That's where you got to be. Like more so, go back to La Source, turn 1, and then you got to maintain a great exit at La Source. It's a very slow corner, of course. You can see on the track map. It's the hairpin. It's like a road car that you and I would drive. But then get a good exit out of there and then climb you up perfectly through a Rouge. And it's basically almost like a straight line you want to go through there at high speed, blind corner. And then to probably deploy a bit of battery, depending on how far that driver away. Now, that driver could be within 0.8 of a second or just under a second. All of a sudden, they're 0.2 on the rear of you. But if they can only be 0.2 by the time you get to Lacombe, you're okay. If they've exited a Rouge behind you and they are within half a second, then you're in big trouble. Then you have to defend.
Yeah, definitely as well. Steve Baker going on to pole at 1:44.42 currently at the moment. I think that lap time is probably going to be looking at coming down, I would have thought as well. As we see Jake Smart going across the line, he's just got into pole on a 1:44.192. Matt Miller is flying along nicely as well. So there is Mac from Burnt Rubber Racing. He's going to be coming across the line, see what he's going to be able to do. Goes into second on a 1:44.219. Lindsay Green is another one that's just about to go over to the line. What is Green going to do here? Ooh, no time from Lindsay.
Hasn't come up yet from Lindsay. Oh, Lindsay might have been validated in the final bus stop. That may be the reason why Lindsay get that time in there, seeing that he'd set a purple sector. That's going to hurt a little bit, but you got 10 minutes of qualifying remaining. But then again, 10 minutes of qualifying in Spa, the longest track on the Formula One calendar, is not a lot of time.
Yeah, Carl Herlich's here is green in sector 1. Everybody else hasn't got an improvement currently at the moment. Elliot Borg improving in sector 3, but Herlich's improving across the first 2 sectors. We'll finish off the lap on board here with Herlich's to see how he gets on as we go round, dropping down into Ravage we go. Excuse me.
Your voice is a bit croaky there, James. I know it's early in the morning for you. Yep, climbing up through. I'm used to the 3 sectors of Formula One. There's 4, of course, here in iRacing. I believe it's 4. Yeah, there is.
Yeah, there is.
And, yeah, this is sliding your way back down the hill. And then climbing back up the hill, of course, through some of the tricky S's. I don't know all the corners up in. There's so many corner names that they have here. And then a little bit of heavy braking, slicing through. Actually, that is, I was on the track map looking, but that's through the bus stop chicane, of course. You can check in and it may never leave, but he definitely did leave. And how much did he leave by? Well, that's a 146.1 there for Carl.
Tyler Gatke's another man that looks like he's got some improvements going on currently at the moment. So Gatke there currently in P16 coming down Blanchimont before he goes down into the bus stop. Of course, that tricky right-left that they've got to deal with at the end of the lap. They can't be looking at putting the power on too early, because I did see in practice a couple of people going round there. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle that one. But what is Gatke going to do? He's got 3 greens on the board, goes into 13th at a 146.450. So no real improvement. Tyler Gatke gets the time on the board, but he is sitting down in 13th. While this man, Mac Miller, is in second currently at the moment and is going faster again in sector 1.
Mac Miller is about a 10th off pace, so it's going to make it. Look at that traffic up the road for Mac Miller. That may very well hurt him a little bit. Jay Smart has just set the fastest first sector. So he might be the one to keep an eye. He may be one to defend here at the moment from Mac Miller's charge, but I don't know. I think this traffic's probably going to hurt Mac Miller because look at this. There's no way you get past 1, you get past 2, you get past 3. That's definitely cost him a little bit of time for sure. But then again, you're not in the right time at the right place. You get your qualifying time, and yeah, there it is. Mac Miller going to have to go for another one, I'd say.
Yeah, he caught the traffic there in a really bad spot, and unfortunately, they didn't quite move out the way quick enough.
Oh, they're not going to move out the way out of that, James. Well, they are moving out of the way, but you know, there's cars are on the track. They're trying to do their qualifying run. I let them do that too.
Yeah, I know they're entitled to do it. You know, don't get onto this blue flag rule again because that would just drive me crazy. But, you know, there wasn't much choice for them to move out of the way. I'll give them that as well. So, fair play. They are on the same bit of track. This is the problem with open quali and doing, you know, open quali because you are going to catch people. So, they've got to be a little bit sensible, and it's going to be interesting in the race to see how they handle that.
As an engineer before in Formula One of engineer drivers, I time the gaps perfectly so that they're in clean air. That's what it's all about as an engineer. That's your job. So that's up to whether or not you do it. Steve Baker at the moment putting on a powerhouse. Fastest first sector for the Colbert Racing team. And what can Stevie do? 2 Stevies you can see on the top of the one. There's Stevie in P11. There's Stevie in P3. Looking to be P1 for Steve Baker. 55 car. That's running a little wide. Hopefully not invalid. It was an invalidation. He's going to have to park that one.
Yeah, I don't know if parking it like that would have been my idea of how to get it to stop, mind you. I'm not
he's off the racing line and returned back to the pit road. But it was quick. You've got to get time to get back out there, Stevie. Obviously, if you set a purple for the first sector, you know you got the pace.
Yeah, Boniatti hasn't got a time on the board yet. Neither has Lindsay Green. We'll have to see what Boniatti can do here and see if he can get the time on the board. But I think this...
A time on the board would be a good time.
Yeah, it would be a good time to get him. I think the thing with, you know, we've come to Spa from a street circuit. Completely different racing. Getting your mind out of the fact that you've got walls right next to you. And then next week, we go back to your home racetrack.
Yes.
Mount Panorama. So they've got a very busy couple of weeks here on the LSRL F1 League. Haven't they really, when they've come from Long Beach to Spa and then to the tricky Mount Panorama. And I'm interested to see how these cars go through there. I think that's going to be one of the most exciting things I'm probably going to watch for a while, to be honest.
You're right, James. But the big difference, of course, is that even though Spa's got those runoff areas and so forth, there is overtaking points, as I said. Massive overtaking at Lacombe. Possibilities into the bus stop. You see side by side through there quite a lot. You can see the twirly whirly coming out of the bus stop. That's going to be one of those things. And the last source coming up as well is another overtaking opportunity. Anywhere else is definitely Bolden Road, but is possible. Bathurst, on the other hand, mate, well, once you start climbing that mountain, there's really no overtaking until you get down into the first couple of corners and so forth. So, yeah, that's the different beast you have to handle. And this mountain you have to handle here in the Belgium countryside is a lot different than the mountain you have to handle down in New South Wales, Australia.
And they've got to get down to the Conrad Straight, haven't they, really? That's going to be, you know, I've seen it in a normal Toyota league, that the death rate at Bathurst just was considerably higher. I think we lost like 11 cars throughout that race. And, you know, they're Toyota GR86s. These are W12s that, you know, at times on certain parts on that race car are no thicker than a matchstick. So,
and not designed obviously for that street circuit. Mac Miller going quicker at the moment. Keep an eye on the 79 car. Mac Miller wants to take that pole. You know he had it before. He had the pace, but he's got to keep it within the wheels, and that's not the way you do it, Mackie. Bang into the fence, and that is his qualifying. I'd have to say done and dusted. Not enough time to get back out there.
Yeah. As they normally say, Mac is back. Well, he might be back, but he's back in pieces.
No, I tell you what, man, James, you know what's coming, right? It took us a little bit of during qualifying, but the Mac is sunk in your belly right now. The Big Mac. There you go. It had to happen, and it's taken that not long. Welcome along to LSRL.
The last time you did that, mentioned food on a broadcast, I was down at McDonald's getting breakfast.
You were, actually, yeah.
I was, 7 in the morning.
It was this time last week, wasn't it? I can't remember. But
yeah, it was. I think it was it Tuesday morning, wasn't it? Was it Tuesday morning?
Somewhere.
Yeah, Tuesday morning for me. It was Monday night for you. That was the Sunday Drive Racing on a Monday. But yeah, that was definitely an interesting one. He managed to bribe the children out of bed with a McDonald's breakfast. They were up within about 5 minutes.
Kids will never deny
Yeah.
Oh, Kyle goes up. Dylan goes right up there for the Victorious. I did pop in. I told you before. I jumped out of the garage there and I said, guys, for the Victoria's Secret team, I said, Victoria's Secret is not a secret anymore. And then they giggled and I left. So that's the way it works.
Yep, go in, mic drop, and come back out again.
Yeah, of course, mate. That's what you do. But it goes to show you the community here is fantastic, isn't it? At Lightspeed Racing.
Yeah, definitely. And this is going to be one fantastic race with the 3-lap sprint before we go into that 25-lap feature. So I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a really good race. We've now got 18 cars. Sean Atkins is here as well. No time on the board at the moment. But it can be a tricky one all at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Do you recall the F1 in La Source years ago when Murray Walker said, I've never seen anything like this before. All the cars have crashed. You remember that? That was a massive pile-up, of course, and that was a wet conditions. We haven't got that in iRacing yet. But, yeah, you can see pile-ups here. Yeah, and don't be surprised.
Kimi Räikkönen blasted through the smoke on the Kemmel Straight with just like no lifting at all. Didn't have a care in the world what was the other side of it, did Kimi, and literally just blast down the Kemmel.
Anthony's looking pretty quick at the moment, the 17 car. Don't forget, Mark Webber and Alonso almost went side by side through a Rouge, which maybe we want to see that one. Anthony's going quick. Jay Smart's going quick. They have to go quick. They're running out of time. This is the final dying stages of qualifying. Who wants pole? It's right there. Grab it right now. Jay's got it. Jay's going quicker. Antonio may very well be looking super quick here, but he's been replaced in the purples by Jay Smart.
Yeah, he's going to go. Oh, where'd he go? Oh, he is still there. Okay, that could be a problem. And Giuliano goes P7. Smart has stopped with his lap, so clearly.
Yeah, I think he backed off, mate, because he realised nobody else is going to steal that pole away from him. That's what I'm saying, anyway.
No, Elliot Borg, he might be green, but he's too far back, I think. If he's going to go from a 145. He's got to take off about 1.2 seconds, and we know that's a tall order in general. So, unfortunately, there as well. I think one of the things it will be interesting for now, there has been rumours of the wet rain coming. There's been a few setups that have been leaked that have the wet tyre setup on them. So I think that's going to be an interesting thing. If we do get rain in iRacing, and we do have even the W13, the W12 or W13 next season, with rain, wet tyres, and we know it rains at Spa. It does it every year. Yeah. It's going to do it again, I don't doubt.
Well, it rains in one part of the track and not in the other. This is the interesting thing. We're going to get those qualifying results coming up at the moment. Right on cue. Go ahead, James.
So we've got Jay Smart in first, Matt Miller second, Dylan Gonaz third, Steve Baker fourth, Daniel Johnson fifth, Mason Sagar in sixth, Anthony Giuliano in seventh, Michael Kostick eighth, Carl Hurlick's ninth, Steve Rubens 10th, John Silver 11th, and Troy Banks down in 13th place. Beyond that, Zachary Kokos Troy Banks 12th, sorry, Zachary Kokos 13th, Elliot Borg 14th, Thomas Boniatti 15th, Lindsay Green 16th, Tyler Gatke 17th, and Sean Atkins is down in 18th place at the moment. That's the thing with rain, isn't it? You know, as you say, it rains in one part, it doesn't rain in another, and then the next thing you know, it's raining around the other side. So it's definitely an interesting one to deal with here in Spa, and we can hope that these guys will be able to deal with the rain quite happily as we go in.
Well, I'm hoping, James, that being a real racing sim, of course, and iRacing has just like a fantastic job. iRacing, hats off to all the drivers and everybody for the Daytona 24 event. It was amazing. It was great. Of course, there's controversy. There's always controversy, but overall, service held up. All the thousands of drivers held up. It was great, great racing. Meatballs were all around, of course, and different stuff. But I think if iRacing can do it properly, my friend, they can do it where they could have that individual rain. Anyway, get ready for motor racing.
Here we go now. Jay Smart on pole. And we are green here in Spa. And it's Mac Miller, Dylan Gunner, Steve Baker, Jay Smart, all rushing down into La Source in one go. Oh, Smart's round. There's chaos already in turn one. Jay Smart, Elliot Borg looked like he was got himself involved in that one as well. And possibly Anthony Giuliano, Sean Atkins, Lindsay Green were there as well. Biggles and there's more.
Oh! It's like Sebastian
Steve
Vettel moments
Rubens.
of Brazil, I believe, isn't it? But there it is. So a lot of the top guns are out at the moment. Dylan's up and Steve Baker up P2, P3. What's happened? It's all gone pole shape for some of those drivers. We'll get those replays for you separate. And let's go on board Elliot Borg. Look at that, dropping all the way back. Well, he's gained 3 positions, but what has gone wrong, James?
Well, it just seems like everybody kind of had a bit of a chaotic moment in this free lap sprint. It's just unbelievable. And it started off with, unfortunately, here with Jay Smart. And we're going to try and have a look on the chopper because we might get a better view. There's Jay off the line. He's in first place.
Bad start. He gets tagged for sure.
No, he spins
It goes around, yeah.
And then this is it. There's one.
Yeah.
And then he pulls out. Borg gets involved as well. And then further down the road, Anthony Giuliano is still there. And then we've got Elliot Borg. And then there's all going off again.
Oh, they didn't even get to La Source. Look at that, straight through. Luckily, of course, it's only the sprint race. So they do gamble, as you know. They've done it before in light speed racing, mate. They're traveling faster than the speed of light, obviously, at this point. But they're gambling a lot for what will be your qualifying positions for the race. And, well, Mac Miller, he's comfortably up the road there from Steve Baker. And, Mac Miller leading the championship, Steve Baker, P2 in the championship, so 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's got it really easy currently at the moment, is Matt Miller. He's off to an absolute flyer here this evening. And he's just out in front, dominating the field already after they come together in that chaotic middle section. Carl Herlix has got Daniel Johnson, Tamas Boniati behind him. Elliot Borg from Bullshift is chasing down Zachary Kokos as well. And well, normally I write down what happened and to who, and I literally, again...
Hey, maybe write down an overtake from Elliot Borg. That could be one for your highlight reel. He's going to use that. No DRS, but he's going to use the slipstream into the Lacombe, overtaking places we mentioned. Can he make it stick through there? Yes, he can. Elliot Borg, P9.
Yeah, up into P9, 3-lap sprint. Don't forget, guys, as well. We are on lap 2, and Daniel Johnson is currently sitting in 5th place at the moment, but it was somewhat of a chaotic start here this evening to this Spa race, and yeah, didn't go well for some of them, did it really?
Well, I call it, James, a dress rehearsal for the main show, isn't it?
But we've got Anthony Giuliano.
That's when you want to get the gremlins out, as you said. Yeah. Anthony Giuliano's had another moment.
It looks like he's had another one, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has. And well, you're this far back in a sprint race, just spin up those tires and have some fun for the Blue Balling racing team.
No, it's gone into the pits. Gone into the pits. Yeah. The wonderful iRacing.
Look at those retirements, mate. Troy Banks, Jay Smart, Sean Masson, and Steve Rubens all out so far. They realize they can't do anything at this point. But who can? Well, battle for P5, as you can see, all within a second. Yeah, is your closest battle on track currently at the moment. And we will stay with this battle. They go for the white flag now. Biggles and, well, Matt Miller just kind of had that sewed up really after turn 1, didn't he? The race starts are crucial in iRacing as well, especially in Spa, because you're all charging down at Lost Source. There's a very short entrance there. And then you got to go, where am I going to go? To the left, to the right. You got cars 2 for now, and also fingers crossed, hoping somebody doesn't slam in the back of you, which didn't happen. Only just a self-spin that we saw from Jay Smart. And I'd have to say, unless anybody can do anything in the Lacombe right now, the late charge probably will be, well, we're on the penultimate lap. One more time to do it. Yeah, I think Koziak there in Zachary, no, Michael at the moment, he may be the closest to try to take Steel P7 away, but it's got to be all about the Broken Wings racing team. Well, that's not a great thing. Look at the exit speed he's got. He definitely handled Puhan, I think, quite well. Charging up the back, he's in a team sandwich. Elliot Borg is right behind him, but this is it. Make or break. I'd have to say, James, he's got to get a fantastic launch out of La Source coming up soon, and maybe, well, if you're bold and brave, take it in a bus stop.
Would you take it into the bus stop, though?
No way. Not this early in the race. No. And not unless the driver makes a mistake. That's probably more of a key. But he won't have time, because the bus stop's it. Yeah, and Mac Miller's going to be like, thank you very much. Tick that one off my driving resume.
Yeah, Matt Miller is going to come across the line and take the victory in the sprint race here this evening. Steve Baker second, Dylan Gonaz third. Well,
and Michael lost those 2 places. He lost it to Elliot Borg. and Thomas. 2 places into the bus stop chicane. I don't know if you got to quickly get. I don't know if you quickly can get a replay of that one, James, because I know those results are going to come up. But yes, he lost it there. Must have. Here we go. Here's Elliot. Yeah, he's gone too deep, and Elliot's going to scoot on by the racing line, put the power down. There it is. Done. Bullshit Racing team take 2 places just like that. The final lap in the final corner.
Yeah, definitely did. All done and dusted here this evening. And the Heat 1 results are up on your screen. Well, let's have a look. As we've got Matt Miller in first, Steve Baker second, Dylan Gonas third, John Silver fourth, Daniel Johnson fifth, Carl Hurlett sixth, Thomas Boniatti in seventh, Elliot Borg eighth, Michael Kostick ninth, Zachary Kokos 10th, Tyler Gatke 11th, Lindsay Green in 12th, Jay Smart 13th, Steve Rubens 14th, Troy Banks 15th, Anthony Giuliano 16th, Mason Sagar 17th, and Sean Atkins 18th place there. That, unfortunately, was all Jay Smart's doing, wasn't it? He kind of caused it all, really, to be honest.
He got bogged down at the start, right? Which is the race starts we know on iRacing are crucial, whether you're using double clutches to whatever system they have. And then, on top of it, probably maybe a little bit of frustration of creeping in because you're seeing all these drivers passing you. He has to go deep into the braking at La Source. And unfortunately, when he did, he got the braking point right. But the exit, when he hit the loud pedal, the car just went, no, and disagreed with him. He spun around. And unfortunately, there's a couple other drivers that had to take evasive actions and do that. But, that's just Jay Smart. And Jay Smart realizes, well, this is only the 3-lap sprint.
Yeah,
Brandy, you must be happy at the moment because Mr. Dillon got the P3 position. So there you go. Bit of fans out there are supporting the drivers. Warm-up time right now, mate. Now, with that, what do you think the drivers are going to be well aware now? They've had their race start. They know how it's going to feel. Now they realize, well, this is the proper race, right? We can't be making these mistakes. We can't be, spinning around backwards and all over the place. We got to just get this done for a full race session.
Yeah, they can't give Matt Miller that amount of time at the beginning of the race. They've got to at least try and stay with him a little bit because, as we saw, he just went on and dominated. And you can't give somebody of that caliber that amount of space so early on. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
if you're Mac Miller, if you're Mac Miller, he's got 3 laps to break DRS because the DRS is as we said in the Camel Straight it hurts you a lot. You can shave 2/10, 3/10 easy in the DRS zone, but if Mac Miller can pull the miracle laps, the 3 laps at the start there, and just break that DRS, then yes. He's going to pretty much be untouchable.
And with that, obviously, over the 3 lap, they didn't get the DRS, did they? But if they give him the amount of room they gave him by the time he got down to the bottom here of the hill, down to El Rouge, where he was like 1.2 ahead already, they're going to struggle. They've got to be tighter on that one. I'm surprised that was a simple mistake from Jay Smart that really probably even he thought he wouldn't be making because he was flying in quali, onto the grid in second, and then goes and just makes an absolutely crazy mistake. And it was just chaotic after that. There was people off track and everything. So I think from his point of view, he's got to try and tidy up the feature to not make that mistake at turn 1. I think that's going to be the thing.
That's the beauty of having that 3-lap shootout is that that's when you're making mistakes. So you're like, all right, okay, I've learnt my lesson. I now know how much throttle I can apply out of a corner. I now know how to get a better restart. And I now know possibly how to try to mount a challenge into La Source. And if I get it right, La Source, I'll follow him through Rouge and the rest of the jazz, of course, down the Camel Straight and so forth. That's going to be the key. Pit stops are also very tricky here. Remember, we'll have to take a pit stop. It's a tight pit stop entrance into the pit road, and believe it or not, James, well, that little concrete barrier that is on the outside, on the right-hand outside, entering into the pit garage, that if you jump that wall, you're over a cliff.
Yeah,
you won't do it, of course, but you'll wait. And actually seeing these drivers doing practice starts, look at this, and that's probably a very clever tactic, isn't it? And that's not the clever tactic, Dylan, going like that, and that's a practice start. Just slamming it into the fence. He'll try it again. Yeah, you can see that right now. Zachary also trying. They're seeing how the tires are cold and how when they hit the loud pedal, the car is responding. On the different tires, we don't know what tires are going to start on too as well, James, just to throw another spanner in the mix.
Yeah. Where would you go?
See Jay Smart doing a race.
Feature. Where would you go?
In the beauty of, well, the difference between the Formula One game, look at practice start game from Jay. The beauty of, well, the difference between the Formula One game is a lot different with the tires than what it is in the iRacing sim. So I don't know. I don't know there's a massive difference really on starting on softs or mediums. It's all about durability and how long you can last on them, probably more than anything. Anyway, there is your grid.
Yeah, so we've got Matt Miller in first, Steve Baker second, Dylan Gonas third, John Silver fourth, Daniel Johnson fifth, Carl Herlick sixth, Thomas Bodiatti in seventh, Elliot Borg eighth, Michael Kostick ninth, Zachary Kokos 10th, Tyler Gatke 11th, and Lindsay Green down in 12th place. Jay Smart 13th, Steve Rubens 14th, Troy Banks 15th, Anthony Giuliano 16th, Mason Sagar is in 17th, and I'm not sure if Sean Atkins is actually here, but he is classified as being in 18th place. Well, here we go again. Matt Miller on pole. It looks like Sean Atkins is here at the back.
Yeah, what I see at the moment is Stevie can try something. Mac Miller is going to be off the racing line. Here we go, James.
So now we've got 5 lights. We are green, green, green for the feature race. And look at Dylan Gonaz. He has absolutely nosed that F1 W12 and has taken the lead, left Matt Miller down in third place. Everybody seems to have made it through. Slight little hang up at the back, but we're not overly worried about that too much as they actually make it through the first turn without any incidents. And Dylan Gonaz got an absolute barnstormer.
You've got a cracker, my friend. Those practice starts probably very much helped it, but they're going to be under attack right now from Mr. Stevie Baker. Knows Stevie Baker's on the racing line. And Dylan has to break behind there safely and says tucks in behind, and that brings Mac Miller back up there after his very poor start. He bogged down. I didn't see if anybody actually went too wide through a rouge at the back there, James, but here he is. Here your results. So far so good, I have to say. Everybody pointing in the right direction. Welcome along to Spa.
Yeah, with gainers and losers on the left-hand side there as well. Gonaz, unfortunately, he's gone back down to third place now after getting off the line like an absolute rocket. We've got 3 drivers on soft tyres. We've got Mason Sagar has started on soft, Thomas Boniatti and Elliot Borg. They've obviously got to change. A lot of people seem to have got mediums, and then we're looking at a soft sprint at the end, I would have thought. I don't think we're going to be seeing the hard tyres here today.
No, you won't see the hard tyres. It'll be softs and mediums for sure here in Spa on a shorter race per se than the Formula One. But on board right now, Mr. Johnson. That's Daniel B. Johnson, 23 car. I don't think he's going to make a run right here through Blackmont, full speed there, 187 miles per hour. But will he try to do anything? He has to. Look at this. Car park making their way through. Bus stop.
Smart has made the move there. He come back from quite far back and, remind me of a full send-in officials there, Mr. Smart. And he managed to get it through the bus stop quite happily. And he did it successfully as well. So fair play to Jay Smart, who is on the mediums. Elliot Borg. I'm not surprised I thought he would have been trying to get a little bit further going now. Elliot's on the soft tyres. He's got to try and make them work earlier on, and he needs to be gaining time over Carl Herlitz, because it doesn't look like it's happening at the moment.
He needs to crack the 1 second marker, because you're outside the DRS. He's on a massive attack from Smart. Smart's going to send one up on the inside using the soft tyres, brake a little bit earlier and accelerate a little bit quicker, and that's job done. So Elliot Borg, of course, Jay Smart on the medium tyres, but yes, because they realise they have to crack the 1 second mark. Yeah, you're right.
Back in round reverse as they're going off down through no name now. And Elliot Borg has come back at Jay Smart. He's going to take an off track there. Even I'm not, I'm realistic that that's out of track limits. But Elliot Borg there now come back, settling back in 6th place. He came back at him, didn't give up the position. He said to Jay, if you want it, I'm going to come back at you, mate. And that's what he did.
Make those soft tyres work, because you've got to catch up to P5 up the road, 1.5 seconds. But the gaggle of cars behind on the soft tyre, 2 soft tyre runners running in 9th and 10th, and you've got 7th and 8th on those mediums. That's where your battle is. Your battle's also for P3 and P4, as you got on the cameras right there. So Dylan has to hold off Sylvia. And believe it or not, Mac Miller's now caught Steve Baker. So multiple battles everywhere here in Spa. Welcome along, Lightspeed Racing.
Yeah, lap 2 of 25 remaining here this evening. And don't forget, we've still got the mandatory pit stop to come as well. And it's Steve Baker, Matt Miller up front, Dylan Gonaz, John Silver there behind him, Carl Herlix. And then we've got Elliot Bull, Jay Smart, Daniel Johnson, Tamas Boniati, Mason Sagar, who was involved in the feature.
In the background, Lindsay Green, I believe that was. Sorry to cut you off there, James. Yeah, it was exiting out of the bus stop chicane. But keep an eye on the battle, because the DRS is not activated yet, but they are in the mighty DRS. Here it is activated right now. You can see on your pictures, Steve Baker under pressure right now from Mac Miller with that DRS activation. Was that the other way around? No, I can't remember what it was, but look at that. You saw that.
Yeah, Steve's trying to defend from Mac Miller. His DRS is going to play a massive effect. And from Baker's point of view, you can't obviously theoretically, when we turn around and say you've got to make that car as wide as possible, he obviously can't go out, go into the pits and add extension 6 feet either side of him, but he's got to give it a good old go at trying to make sure he can maintain a position where it makes it almost difficult for Miller to kind of decide where he's going to make the overtake. I don't think it's a matter of if, I think it's more of a matter of when.
Well, the difficult part, too, of overtaking through Lacombe there, James, is that if you go on the racing line, somebody can definitely undercut you and go side by side because it swings to the right, swings to the left. So you can play any of your cards, and they may very well work or not. It's all about putting that pressure on the driver there and seeing where they're going to be braking, if they're on the racing line or not. Look at that. Miller is right tucked up in the back of Steve Baker. I don't know if he's going to think about doing it at the bus stop right now. No, he won't. But more importantly to see the exit he's going to get, right? A little DRS activation here, not a lot. Net code there. It's a tiny amount, doesn't make that much difference. But you go to La Source. Let's see what the exit is. They're both from the racing line. Nobody switched to Rude this one. And now, Mac Miller on the power. Where is he? Well, he's about half a second down, so he didn't get a good exit at La Source. He has to get a nice ride through Rouge. Welcome along to the roller coaster ride up through here in Belgium. And now, half a second, he's got to get it down. He should get it down to about 2/10, but will it be too far back to make a dive in Lacombe?
Oh, he's definitely not going to make this. I think he is way too far back. Baker's going to survive. I think the thing is for Baker, if he can survive that lap after lap after lap, I reckon he's got the pace, through this section to maintain that gap out to Miller. And,
he has it, James, but there's one problem. See that blinking light? That means your energy you're harvesting, which means he's probably burning it as well. And that's something that Mr. Miller will be looking at in his cockpit. See? The blinking light, harvesting energy. Now, Mac Miller's going to know exactly. He's going to try to harvest some energy. He has no pressure from behind. And you can see the speed difference. We don't know if he's deploying energy, but I think he's ready to tuck in here and maybe see how it's going to pan out for like 5 coming up soon.
Yeah, I think if he's going to make the move down Blanchimont, it's going to be a very brave man here from Matt Miller as we are on board with our second place man. Looking forward at your leader, Steve Baker. Baker's just trying to survive, I think, Biggles, isn't he, lap after lap?
Yeah, also, it doesn't be too bad to be tucked in behind, remember, because the DRS is almighty. You don't necessarily want to be the one breaking the air. You see, I don't think he's going to run for it here. What he's doing is setting a dummy. It's like a rugby match, isn't it? Get the dummy in there, tuck in behind. And it's interesting to see whether he's also maybe thinking about Mac Miller, maybe thinking about charging his battery for a few more laps. But look at this battle brewing back in P5.
Jay Smart just made the move past Elliot Bull going into the bus stop there this evening as well. Daniel Johnson is battling away with Borg and Herlix here in this group. Gaggle of cars, but can Steve Baker survive this run through El Rouge Radion? I think Matt Miller's going to get him here because he's got 1/10.
No, he's going to back off. I don't think he's going to go for it here. I think he's going to send it side by side, but just, he did. He burned his energy. You were wrong on that one. James, you cut away. I wanted to see if they went side by side through Rouge in this battle further back, but no, yes, you're right.
Looking at the 2 wide that we've got going on behind here with Elliot Bull, Jay Smart, Daniel Johnson, Carl Herlix.
That's going to hurt big time. That's a position taken easily.
Yeah, Borg now pulls out in front of his teammate Tamas Boniati, who has just lost a position to Troy Banks there. Banks making that move and is now up into 8th place. But I was just having a look down here with Daniel Johnson and Carl Herlix. They were going at it tooth and nail down the Kemmel. So we have to pick up and see what they're up to. But it's Elliot Borg now trying to chase down Carl Herlix. And now this is kind of it. If we go from here and we look back there. Oh, Baker's gone.
Oh, Baker's made a mistake. Yeah, absolutely. Into the sand pit.
Yeah.
Yes. That means Smart's going to be right up the rear end right now. And Smart knows, hey, my tires are okay. They don't have any dust and dirt all over them. So he has to mount the pressure right now. Has to mount hard and fast before Steve Baker can get the temperature back up on his tires.
Yeah. And Smart's flying as well at the moment. He's up, currently, Jay Smart is up 9 places. So, you know, he's not hanging around at the moment either. And now he's picking up DRS again over Steve Baker. Could this be Steve Baker sliding down another position by the time they get to the end of the Kemmel Straight? And I've got a funny feeling on board with Jay Smart, if he can get that gap down a little bit. He didn't get a great exit out of La Source, but
you need 4 tenths at the top of Radeon. Is half a second probably not enough, but we'll see. DRS will be activated right now. 17 kilometers an hour. Both of them are blinking lights, so they're burning the energy. Too far back, James.
Yeah, definitely going down into Lacombe. He's not going to make it this time around here this evening. I'll tell you what, Mason Sagar, though, is looking at making it over Sean Atkins. Further in front of him, Steve Rubens and Anthony Giuliano. Giuliano goes past Rubens there. Sagar manages to go, well, the long way round to Sean Atkins, really. Not really the outside line to take, I guess, round Lacombe, but he seems to have made it work. And then is Steve Baker under attack from Jay Smart still for your battle for 3rd and 4th
Banks place as well, super close for P5, P6. That's actually a switcheroo there, James. Where did they get that done? I think they got that out of pool one. That was bold and brave. That was to be there. And good job done, you have to say, for Troy Banks. Welcome along to the P6 club.
Yeah, Tyler Gatke looks like he has taken a little bit of an excursion here. And let's have a look and see what he's been up to.
Keep an eye on, the second after this replay. Tyler is not agreeing. He's like, where's the snow, my friend? I'm Canadian. Unfortunately, not here at the moment in Spa, my friend. But yeah, keep an eye on Steve Baker. I think he's going to be ready to make a run because Smart, let's see, there's Steve Baker in P3, Smart in P4. Smart needs to be, once again, he's got to get 4 tenths out of La Source, and that's not the way to do it. No, Smart's going to cover him off. Yeah. Unless Smart makes a mistake through La Source. Let's see. Slicing it through, tight in, tight out of Radeon. Perfect. Yep, he'll cover it off.
Yeah, he'll get DRS. Smart will get DRS, we know that. Carl Herlix may get Troy Banks, mind you. They're about 3/8 on the top of the hill. Herlix is going to be looking at going around Banks. Which way's Banks going to send him? He's going to turn around and say, well, you're going to go the long way.
Yeah.
Herlix is going to run him around the long way of Lacombe. Oh, contact.
Oh, running into the fence right there. Troy Banks. Wow.
Set him out. Thank you very much. Towed back to the pits.
Battle Brewing, P9 as well too there, James. P9, they're all tucked up behind. And I have to say, soft tyres haven't really worked out for these drivers. Look at the tyres currently on your grid. Only one driver remaining on soft tyres, and that is Mason Sagar, who's just dropped a place, actually, believe it or not, to Atkins.
Elliot Borg has been in the pits. He's got rid of his soft. He's gone onto the hards, as has also Tamas Boniati is on hards. Tyler Gatke is on hards as well.
You're right. I didn't think. I'm so used to the Form 1 games. They are using the mediums to hards and hards. No front wing for Mason Sagar there. So that's the reason why he was dropping just before.
Carl Herlix looks like he's taking adventures off track as well. He looked like he survived. I don't think Smart can get close enough through these last sectors. He can't get close enough through the bus stop, but he can't seem to carry the speed out into La Source.
This is why I bet you right now Steve Baker's burning that energy right here. He's pushing that ERS button and just gaining it, and then that's it. As they climb through a Rouge, and if you're not, as I said, if you're not down to about 3 tenths when you exit a Rouge, regardless of the DRS that Jay Smart's going to deploy, is not going to be enough.
Yeah, I think
Mason Sagar's had another crash. Mason Sagar can't get the one
into the pit.
Right. Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is the joys of iRacing. Let's have a look at Troy Banks again, if I can catch him a little bit earlier on. That's with Carl Herlix. Contact, and then he just kind of ceremoniously puts him I don't know if he put him into the wall, did he? I think there was just a wheel bang, and then there was just a loss of control from Banks.
Yeah, oversteered it, of course, because they're wheel-to-wheel racing. But when you're wheel-to-wheel racing through a spa on high-speed corners like that, and it just takes a twitch of oversteer, understeer, and yep, you're in the fence.
Jay Smart has
Just
lost
like that.
time. Yeah, he's lost time. Giuliano seems to be gaining around here in 9th and 10th with Steve Rubens in front of him. Rubens from Scudiera Andromeda, Anthony Giuliano from the Blue Ballers. Oh, gets a big snap coming out of Pouan. God, that could have been more dangerous, couldn't it, really? Let's be real about it for that one. But he was sitting there going, oh.
James, I always say you have a T-shirt that says, I survived Eau Rouge, I survived Spa. I survived the circuit. It's insane. And to think there was Anthony did not survive that corner, but he got it switched around. He's steering in the right direction. Anthony for the blue ball as well. You lost a place, but you did not lose the action. Well done.
Oh mate, that is gonna be on the JPB YouTube Shorts channel tomorrow with some nice ballet music coming behind it.
That could be the iRacing highlights. Submit that. Remember, iRacing have top 10 highlights. You got to submit that out there if everybody's paying attention.
That was a definite ballet music dance that was from Anthony Giuliano. I tell you, he wrapped it round, didn't he? And it just carried going. I mean, very impressive.
Are you talking high speed, mate? Yeah. To swing it like that is amazing.
And what's worse, he must have done it properly because it didn't even show up as an incident on the timing software.
Wow.
It didn't even have him registered as an off-track. Well done, Anthony Giuliano. Absolutely stunning job from you there as well.
Clip that in the iRacing top 10 highlights for sure, because that's something that should be featured. But still the battle brewing for P3, still the battle brewing for P6 and P7, because we're looking at that on your left-hand side. That means they're inside the 1 second, which means they're inside the DRS.
But Smart, as we know, cannot seem to hold it around the last sector and really the first sector, isn't it, Biggles, really? He can't seem to be able to stay close enough.
No, he's close now, but now doesn't count so much because you're going to make your way down the hill through Blancmont, I think it is.
Blanchimont.
You're better Blanchimont. You're better au français than I am. You're closer to the country than I am, so we'll see. Happy Australia Day out there, by the way, for all the Australians that are paying attention and listening. If you don't, just cheers to the Aussies. Yeah. Jay Smart is close now. Is very close.
But can he do it? It's 2 attempts going in.
All right, now DRS activation. Good exit speed. You can see the rear slipped a little bit. That's fine. He put the power down. He's still 4/10 into La Source. He's 3/10. Got to get an exit here of all exits.
Oh, he got a better one.
No, he got a great exit. Here we go, James. Now, follow through a Rouge. Go on board with Jay Smart if you don't mind, James, because I think he could definitely take this one. Not Baker, Jay Smart. There you go. Right, yeah, see, it's taken care of from a baby at this point. DRS is not even activated. And now, yeah, see the difference between if you're 3/10 or 5/10 coming out of La Source? It's so much easier. Gonas doing the same thing as well, too, on Cocos, I think it is.
Yeah,
Zachary.
It looks like he's got the job done. Dylan Gonas with his absolute rocket start. Unfortunately, didn't maintain that and has dropped down the order into 7th place. But Gonas, I'm sure, will come fighting fit. Giuliano again, our ballet man.
Oh, that's a bad exit. Oh,
Atkins
struggling.
Oh, yeah. Atkins trying to get the power down there. Giuliano nearly collected him. But they haven't managed to, keep it safely. But boy, oh boy, that could have been a lot worse.
With his Victoria's Secret undergarments, got a little excited that one. We already seen before, didn't we? From anyone. We won't talk about that one, but we saw a little bit of moments from some of those dropping. Yeah, it's a Victoria's Secret, mate. You know. What do you get when you go to Victoria's Secrets?
It's actually Victoria's Secrets.
But, of course, it's Victoria's Secrets.
But I don't want to imagine anybody wearing undergarments, especially not Sean Atkins. I've got to be honest. But
that was a debate with the Formula 1 drivers this season. Remember what they could and might not wear underneath their racing suits, but yeah, see,
I don't want to know.
Something else.
I can't imagine any single Formula 1 driver standing there in their undergarments before they put a suit on. I've got to be honest. Bit of a random topic of conversation here on lap 11 of 25.
Well, James, this is what you get in your broadcasting network, my friend. It's never a dull moment. I hope you never get bored out there in the chat.
Dylan Gonaz is going to do this. 4 times coming up to the top of the hill.
If he gets good exit through Radion, yes. Okay, now, let's see. No flashing light, but from the car up the road. There it is there. So battery deployment. I don't know, mate. Last of the late breakers. Off the racing line. No, he lifted. He lifted. He thought,
exit on that run down into Ravage, isn't he? He's got to be looking at sending it on the inside. Gonaz.
No, he's off the racing line. You're going to lose so much scrubbing speed here.
So Herlix. Look, Herlix took that very wide. Coming through No Name now and on the run down into Pouon on board with Dylan Gonaz. Chasing down Carl Herlix now. Here we go. Round Pouon.
They're not going wide. They're not going wide enough through there too. You got to get right onto the apron, guys. Come on. I'm so used to the Formula One esports game. Anyway, Dylan, it's a whole driving beast difference. Look at that. He steers it to the left, steers it to the right, and back to the left again. That's quite nice. Follow it in. Don't follow the car, Dylan. Follow your own mental racing line.
That's one of the hardest things.
Yeah, that's an oversteer twitch moment. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's one of the hardest things there, isn't it? To see, not to follow that car in front. I'm interested there as well, Biggles, from the question in YouTube
I just read that.
Joseph Murata asking, what are the broadcasters wearing? Well,
wouldn't you like to know, Joseph?
Have you ever seen that the news program where they're in a shirt on top, Joseph, and then you always wonder what they've got under the desk?
Exactly.
We're just going to leave you wondering there, sir.
Boxes or briefs, who knows? At the moment, Dylan's is tucked up. The DRS train right now will be from Mr. Kyle for the Blue Bowlers. Well, let's see how he's going to handle 2 cars attacking him up through Eau Rouge and Camel straight. Oh, he's gone too deep a little bit. That'll scrub a bit of speed.
He's going to get this done before he even gets there. He's got the activation of DRS now. You see the 3 lights on the dash means he's got it open. Here we go. Dylan Gonaz has made that move through, definitely on that one. Unfortunately there as well, Zachary Kokos did not get an exit out of La Source. He was 7 tenths back by the time he started on the run down the hill. So he definitely was not going to get that run out there as well. But it is Dylan Gonaz back up to 6th after losing that positions there, which can only just be described as an absolute barnstorming start from Dylan Gonaz. And I'd love to try and see if we can actually get on board with Dylan on his start here. If I can get back far enough, get into the cockpit. There he goes. He's just literally like look at that, threading a knife and a needle.
Yeah.
Dylan Gonaz.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's wearing that Victoria's Secret. Feeling a little lacy, per se, silky. Anyway, we're going to go into. We have to get off that subject right now. But I'll tell you what, man. They say he was taking candy from a baby. I think he was taking a Big Mac from James. There you have it.
Leave my Big Macs alone. It's almost like Pink Floyd. Dylan, leave my food alone. Otherwise, you will get a fork in your hand. Trust me. Don't want to steal food from an Englishman when he's tired and hungry. Photos
stick a fork in him, he's done, as you'd say if it's a meal. But, well, the meals are brewing at the moment. Let's not talk about food. 13 and 25, James.
Yeah, definitely on that one. Joseph, I'll send you a DM later. If you know, I'll take a stand up and I'll put it on a timer, and you can see what I currently wear while I'm sitting here broadcasting. All right?
Oh no, please don't.
Hey, let's just put it this way. I've got clothes on. Stop it.
Okay, well, welcome along to the Hot Tub I Mean Lightspeed Racing streaming here for the James's Broadcasting Network. James is almost going to be full-time broadcasting. As the battle is brewing, you are almost going to be full-time. Congratulations, James. So we'd love to see more and more of you, mate. Now you have a real day job, let's say. They say, I think I put this into quotes. They say, don't give up your day job, but you are giving up your day job for fantastic broadcasting. I am, yes. At the end of February, I take my plunge into full-time broadcasting here along iRacing, Race Room, R Factor, ACC, and AC as well. So you can hit us up if you do have a league that you want to get onto broadcast, and we will try our best to endeavour to make it happen as well. We won't be able to escape you, will we, James? We're going to have you 24/7 now. Well, yeah, I did the fact as well that you'll join 12 other leagues per week. You know, we can't be doing a bad job if we're doing 12 pro. Yeah, and Kyle. That's not the way you do 13 laps around Spa, but he did save it. What a Tokyo drift here in Belgium.
Oh, there's going to be some nice little pirouettes going out on YouTube tomorrow,
Yeah.
I tell you. Carl Hurlick's there.
Yeah,
On
clip
lap
that one,
14,
guys, please.
Yeah, lap 14 is another one that's going to be going out in the ballet dancing highlights with Anthony Giuliano as well, because Giuliano did do a lovely pirouette.
Oh, Giuliano, absolutely fantastic earlier as well, too. Yeah.
You can just imagine.
And now maybe it's a showdown to see who can do the best ballet around Spa. Who could
Maybe.
tippy-toe their way.
Which one would sound best going with Swan Lake music as it goes on to YouTube?
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Insert Swan Lake music right now. Here we go. 14 or 25. We do have to insert a couple of pit stops for the drivers at James because they have to make them. And at the moment, the top 10 cars haven't made a pit stop just yet.
No, the interesting thing as well is neither has Sean Atkins. Atkins is still on the medium tyres. He's down in 12th. The problem is everybody behind him has. We've lost Lindsay Green and Troy Banks. No, Green's still running, so we've lost Troy Banks. But everybody behind Atkins has made a pit stop. And unfortunately for Atkins, he didn't jump Elliot Borg. So Elliot Borg's made a pit stop and managed to come back out in front of him. He has changed tyres, but it is currently the front 10 from this man, Anthony Giuliano, our very own ballet dancer, has not made a pit stop.
That's true. You have to mention Elliot Borg, of course, has made a pit stop, as you mentioned, P11. So he will be definitely gaining something. He's on the hard tyres, definitely go to the end, no problemo. And I'm wondering if some of these medium tyre runners can stretch a little bit further to perhaps switch over to their soft tyres. They can go to the end, I imagine. I'm just once again confused for the F1 game or not. Well, Sylvia's jumping in the pit lane, so we'll see if John S. will be able to prove us right or wrong. Soon.
Silver's going off down this very slow, long pit lane here. Mason Sagar has gone from softs to mediums, so he has pitted and is chasing down Michael Kostick and Tamas Boniati currently, so he's not still on the softs. We do know that the wonderful world that does not change tyre compounds on the screen. John Silver coming out roundabout and just in front of Zachary Kokos. So Silver comes back out in 6th, so it wasn't too much of a dramatic pit stop. But Jay Smart still being chased down by Steve Baker and Sagar. Just sent it out the inside of Michael Kostick, and next on his list is Tamas Boniati.
You know what's tricky about that one if you're deciding to go the pit lane entrance as well too on that one because that's to the right hand side. So yes,
imagine what Kostick would have had to try and do then. Literally hit the brakes.
Anyway, is Sylvia on softs, Dylan? I mean, not John S. Sylvia, because I believe he was on medium. So even though it doesn't show it, I think he's on softs. It's so difficult.
Yeah, he's
on
do
softs.
10 laps. Yeah, John S. Silva.
Okay.
I'm sorry to be happy about you calling him Sylvia.
Mate, I am Espanol. He's in Colombia, and I am in the closest country next to him in Panama. So, come talk to me about Espanol, my friend. No, anyway, he's probably might murder me later. Sorry, my friend, if I get it wrong.
Yeah. But it's interesting now. We've got lap 15, 10 laps remaining. Silver's the only one who's taken his pit stop.
Now, where did he came out ahead? Well, Dylan's got ahead, right? Well, my apologies.
In the pits now.
Elliot Borg was the one that went to the pit stop before. So Elliot Borg currently running P11. Yeah, exactly. Jay Smart's in there. Let's see how the undercut may pay off, whether or not Smart.
I don't think he's going to, because I don't even think he's stopped yet. No. I think Silver's going to get Smart here. Silver's just coming around on your right-hand side. You can see him just coming under the bridge now. There goes Silver. So Silver is through. What about Zachary Kokos? Is he's going to jump Jay Smart as well? No. The two teammates. Smart stays out in front of Zachary Kokos as well, unfortunately. Steve Rubens, Carl Hurlicks.
Yeah, it's tricky to remember the pit lane exit is you're already slow coming out of the pit lane, but the cars that are approaching La Source had to slow down big time. And then you get the power down as you make your way up through Eau Rouge, of course, the Red River Creek. That's why it's called El Rouge.
Now, I think the interesting thing is we've got both of these Clutches of Wales racing teammates on track currently at the moment. Now, I can't see Zachary Kokos making a move here, partly because he hasn't pitted either. So I think he's going to let Jay go away with it. Of course, we know Jay's currently up 7 places from where he was after the sprint, of course. But he's going to be flying around quite nicely here, trying to chase down Silva, and I don't think Kokos is really going to get involved in that. Tamas Boniati is trying to get himself involved with Mason Seagal, though.
Zachary needs to get the DRS toe, that's all, because he's battling with the other drivers that are behind him, so that's clever play.
But he hasn't pitted.
No, he hasn't pitted, that's exactly right. Get that toe as much. Michael's had a bit of a crash going into the pit road. And our race leader of Mac Miller's boxing, but look at Sylvia. Sylvia is gaining big time. And he knows that Dylan has to box, but how much time? He's not worried about Dylan right now. He's worried about the two drivers up the road that are boxing right now. Three drivers at the moment. Mac Miller, Steve Baker, and Daniel are all in.
As well.
Yeah.
Where is Miller? Miller is coming to a stop now. Where is Silva? Silva's there. They're going to be coming out literally.
Ooh, Silva might gain one here.
He's behind the wall. Silva's going to.
I think Silva's got him.
He's going to take first.
He has got him. The Colombian driver has done it. Then again, his tyres are a couple of laps, but his tyres up the temperature, which means Mac Miller has to get on with it and get on with it as quickly as possible to get the DRS. 1.3 seconds. You don't want to be outside that. Here we go.
John Silva has jumped. Mac Miller, Steve Baker, all
Smart,
within the
Jay Smart, yeah.
I think he got Smart as well, all within the pit stop window. He's now got a 1.3 second gap over Mac Miller. What a stunning strategy from Silva. Yeah, he made it work as well.
Undercut. Keep an eye on Borg at the moment. He's got Giuliano, I think, there for P8 and P9. That's Elliot Borg on the hard tyres. Yeah, not many drivers on the hard tyres at the moment, doing a bit of a lock-up there too. But hard tyres versus medium tyres, job done. A lot of those battles brewing at the moment. That's Steve Baker on the back of Jay Smart. You got Rubens on the back there of Kyle. Welcome along to Motor Racing in Spa. Always produces, doesn't it, James?
Yeah, definitely. The thing with Borg is he went on lap 5. He was definitely going to go on to the hards, regardless going in that early. The problem is he's not really managing to make them work as such now because Giuliano's on the medium. The only good thing for Borg is Giuliano hasn't pitted, where Daniel Johnson and Dylan Gonaz have pitted and they're on the soft. So, unfortunately for Borg, he could be under attack here, I tell you that much. And very, very shortly, I think we're going to see Daniel Johnson making a move past Giuliano, or Giuliano's going to be heading into the pits probably at the end of this lap, I would have thought. Yeah,
but don't do it during the bus stop chicane there, Daniel, because if he does swing it to the into the pit road, which he does, there you go. And tell you what, real quick there, Steve Baker went off track. Now, he's currently running very closely, but he went off track before, but he's not going off track at the moment. He's right on track. Oh, Jay Smart. Here we go.
He's got it.
Yeah, if you got it right there.
Outside.
Forcing him onto the racing line, but the problem is that DRS, you can't defend against it. You have to tuck in behind and think about, well, I've got plenty of laps to do that back to you later on.
I think
Mac Miller also on Sylvia to the lead of the race.
From Smart's point of view, though, he played that smart in a way. Because Steve Baker has obviously been quick throughout, right? We've seen it from the beginning, we've seen it now. The trouble is, them two fighting, they're losing time to Miller. So, from Smart's point of view, I would have let Baker go as well and just sat there and said, right, now tow me forward. I'm not going to fight you. Tow me into Miller, who, them two, we know that Miller and Silva's going to come to contact very, very shortly as well. It's about 7 tenths currently at the moment. So we might as well use Baker to be able to get him forward. The problem is Baker's not going forward enough here because he's lost about half a second on that last 2 sectors alone before he even goes on that run down Blanchimont. So it's...
Well, give him time, James. Give him time. He just got the overtake done. He had to break the dirty air. Let's see when, things settle down a little bit, if he can start putting in the bank of laps that he needs to pull in, as you said, to pull in Mr. Baker in P3. But Miller's, I think, clever. Set Mac Miller just sitting back at the moment, hanging on John S. Sylvia to see whether or not John S. Sylvia makes a mistake or not. No, Mac Miller currently running second in the championship. Doesn't make too many mistakes, but here we go. Look at the action on the track there.
Giuliano's going to make the most of Thomas Boniati. I don't know where Bullshift Racing got their strategy from, but both of their drivers, Boniati and also Elliot Borg, went in on lap 5 on the hard tyres. Now, Borg's
overtake for the lead. Mac Miller's got one, and also Smart on the same into Lacombe. Both those drivers. You'll have to go back and look at those replays in a second when we get time there, James.
Yeah, Borgs kind of made it work on the hard tyres, but he's now just going to get eaten alive by Daniel Johnson with Dylan Gonaz for company as well. Dylan can see them at the end. It's kind of an inspiration when you can actually see the drivers. Okay, so Smart's going a little bit quicker and a little bit better than Baker did. He's pulled the gap down to under 2 seconds now. Says John Silver. The problem is Silver's losing battles out to the guys in front. So let's have a look at the McMillan pass here. Oh, it's a straight run down Kemmel.
Teammates as well, so
yeah, and then we've got Jay Smart just going past Steve Baker all at the same time. So yeah, Matt Miller and John S. Silva from the Scuderia Andromeda team, and Matt Miller from Burnt Rubber Racing. So unfortunately,
I want to see Jay Smart's time when he has the clear air and he's obviously carrying Baker in the DRS tow. But once we get an idea, once I do a lap time, we'll see, because the leaders were lapping the 45s. Yeah, whoa, Jay Smart, 45, fastest lap, 45 flat. So question answered for me for the Clutches of Wales racing team.
Trouble he's going to have now. Baker's down to 2 so 1.4 away from Silver. So Smart's not even going to get the DRS to save him here. Smart's going to pull out. Baker's going to go out to the right. There we go. Job done. Silver's still got in the draft of Matt Miller, managing to get DRS. So he saw his wing wide open. I think from his point of view, if he can stay close enough and keep using Miller for the DRS, Silver's in with a good chance of surviving here.
I think Jay Smart was clever not overtaking Stevie there. Staying behind, he could have, I think he could have fully set that one down and locked home and got the job done. But I think he's happy to have this tow, because look at this tow. Guess what? You have turned a 1-horse race into a 2, 3, and 4-horse race. You could see all the cars almost right here. 1, 2, and 3, and they're almost all in DRS range. They're on the bubble of DRS range. So here it is. Smart can play smart here. And, well, Steve Baker can also try to play the defensive game. He's trying, he's eking everything he can out of the 55 car to get within the 1 second DRS of Mr. John S. Silvio.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that battle as well, but we have got Mason Sagar, Sean Atkins, Steve Rubens. This is your battle for 11th, 12th, and 13th currently at the moment. Atkins trying to chase down Sagar. I think it's going to be interesting to see if he can. Oh, Sagar's gone wide. No. Ooh.
Yeah, but there's no overtaking through here unless you're really bold and brave. Yeah, get on the power early. That will be a run. Definitely down. Oh no, he's actually more under pressure from the car behind, and that's Rubens.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised from Atkins there as well, because Atkins is currently running on the soft tyres. Saying that though, so is Steve Rubens, but Rubens has got to try and clear Sagar now. Surely he's got to give Sagar a bit of a run for his money.
Oh, so close to contacting the rear wing. Oh, this is a spin. Yeah, it's Atkins going around. Yeah, it's a bus stop chicane, mate. It's so slow, isn't it? You got to stop. It's why it's called a bus stop chicane. You stop, hopefully, on a dime. If you don't, you're in trouble. Baker now has caught it big time on the back there of John Sylvia. So his gamble has paid off, and he's actually just on the bubble of dropping Mr. J Smart out of the DRS range. But J Smart's caught this one. So here we go. DRS train. And unfortunately, John S. Sylvia is your DRS train.
And it's not. The problem is for John Silver is he's not got DRS of Matt Miller. So he's got nothing to survive here.
Yeah, he's got nothing to get that tow along. Exactly. Mac Miller's just broken that one. So the big pressure for the Colombian to hold off the American onslaught coming thick and fast here in Spa.
They are going to be coming as well. They're going to be shifting along nicely. I think the guys behind. Don't forget the front 5 are all on softs. Borgs managed to make it work a little bit on the hards. He went long and he's pitted down on lap 5 and has managed to make it through to lap 22. Unfortunately for Silver here, he'll be surprised if he'll be lucky to make it through lap 21 here.
Well, he's currently in silver position. There you go, if you want those puns. Unfortunately, he might be staring at a bronze right now because look at Baker's speed. Sensational speed. I don't think he can do anything defense against on James.
He can't do nothing. Smart's got DRS as well. So Smart's got to now tuck in. But from Silver's point of view, he's got to try and stay with Baker. Baker's got to get on his boots this time. Can't be hanging about like he did after the Smart overtake. He's now got to get a shift on straight away. And the only way he can do that is by going faster than McMillan, and the only way he's going to be able to go faster than McMillan is chuck an anchor out of McMillan's car and make him stop, because McMillan's quick, and he's pulled out 2 temps through the last 2 sectors.
Maybe he needs to change his deadlock so he doesn't get burgled. Waiting for that one too, James.
Oh, yeah, it's not happened yet, has it?
No.
Nobody's left the door
Nobody's been
wide
burgled.
Open. No.
Huh.
Nobody's left the door wide open, unfortunately. You know, you could. The thing is, you can't do a lot down the Kemmel Straight when the other guy's got DRS and you haven't. You are literally.
Yeah, it's just the
like
energy. As I said,
duck.
it's that battery that we don't really see, but that's the only defense you have in a Formula 1 car.
Yeah, you are literally a sitting duck at that point. You know what I mean? You might as well just sit there and wait to be in somebody's dinner, because you can't do nothing about it.
In James's belly,
Stop it.
scoffing down a couple of Big Macs. But yeah, I tell you, it's all about the exit out of the La Source. That's the key. And then maintaining it through a rouge. And then if the driver behind you manages to do the same thing you do, well, that's it. That's all you can really do to defend at the moment. Well, he has to try to defend Jay Smart, because Jay Smart is going to be tucked up that gearbox. And this is it, La Source. What can Silver do? He has to just do the perfect racing line, and he has done it. So granted, he's done the job, but Smart's now within half a second. Climbing through a rouge is going to be very key there for Silver, and needs to keep this perfect.
Is Silver going to get the activation up? Oh,
yes, he will. Yes, he will.
Literally nothing.
It's not enough. Oh, yeah, it may be enough to defend against. Yeah, it will be enough to defend against Jay. Now, you got to think about it right now. He's looking at a lap counter going, I'm 23 or 25. I need to do this 2 more times to get myself a podium. Otherwise, it's a P4.
He just caught that activation zone. I think it was on like 9.8. Just as he went over the activation line, he managed to catch the activation on the DRS. Did Silver, but Silver's got to do it again. All the while, Baker's trying to close down McMillan. He's got the job done, down to about 1.5 currently at the moment. Steve Rubens is trying to close down on Mason Sagar. They're coming down to Kemmel. I'm expecting this time to drop. Is Sagar gonna? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
No, you're going to have to back off there. That's right off the racing line. He has to try to force Sagar into a mistake at this point.
Yeah.
Now, Silver's out on the bubble. Now, this is a crucial point, because he has to be. He's on 1 second. There it is, 9/10. The activation zone, I believe, is coming up in a minute. So you might see it on the track. There's a white line there. There's your activation zone. So is he got it? No, I don't think he had it. So he won't get this little toe down the main straightaway.
No,
and that, no, he won't. He won't get that DRS. It's going to hurt a little bit.
He didn't. And he's now 1.3 out to Baker, sorry.
See how much that hurts. Drop 4 temps just like that.
It's going to be done. And that's no disrespect to Silver. I think he's going to be finished by the time
Silver at the moment, I would let him go, charge your battery up, and attack on the final lap. That's all he can do.
He hasn't got a choice. Here goes Smart, pulls out.
Yep. But stay within him and charge your battery is what he can do. And I think that's a clever play. And then just full deploy battery with the DRS on the final. Ooh. Rubens and Sagar.
Yeah, we've got Sagar in the
that's all Silver can do at this point. McMillan, well, he's got a 1.3% gap. Mr. Baker, he has a gap. So they should be looking good. Although, James, I was doing a Formula 1 race a little bit earlier in Hungary, and the leader spun on the penultimate corner and lost the race. So anything can happen, James. I'm not saying it's going to happen now, hopefully. No. But it was just like gut-wrenching, isn't it? I went to the driver to call the race ending, and they weren't there because they DNF'd. And they had a bit of a gap. They had a little bit of a gap, mate. I think I had about 5-second gap, so they didn't be pushing like that. But once again, hey, drivers are drivers, and want to go as fast as possible.
Absolutely. Silver's just managed to hang on to Smart here. Literally just. He's at 8/10. He needs that double DRS to pull him forward on the last lap.
Yeah, if he doesn't get that DRS, Silver can be massively under attack here.
He's trying to chase down Smart at the moment.
Did he lose the activation point?
No,
I couldn't see.
He got it. He got the first one.
Yep.
The
He got
problem
it.
is
Yep,
for
you're
Silver,
right.
Smart got it over Baker.
But the first activation activates both anyway, so he's going to get up through Rouge. Silva now has to just give everything he possibly can in that Mercedes, because they're all in the Mercedes. But do it for Colombia. Rapido, amigo, rapido. Vamos, vamos. And we'll see. Borg at the moment trying to vamos his way past
No, he's just got done
Dylan?
by Gonaz. Gonaz just got
Gonaz?
him. Yeah.
Yep.
Gonaz, of course, is on the soft tyres, but Elliot Borg on the hard. Depends what Borg could do down on that run through Kemmel. Steve Rubens and Mason Sagar going at it again. Sagar looked like he did get past Rubens. This turning spicily into a nice little battle, but I think Gonaz is going to
paddles everywhere, James.
Yeah.
Everywhere. But that's it, I have to say. Smart and Silva there with the DRS, but that means a bus stop miracle. And a bus stop miracle of a late dive equals somebody's going in the wrong direction.
Jay Smart's not going to get it. Silver's too far back. I think Elliot Borg is not going to get Gonaz. The only one that might really make the difference on the last lap could be Steve Rubens. Chasing down Mason Sagar here.
Yeah, if you get him to Lacombe. Or Nat Code.
Whoa. Behave. Rubens.
No, he's going to have to back off. He almost had a late dive. Oh, no, he's got it. He forced Sagar into a mistake.
Sagar on the last lap of the race goes and puts it in the wall at Lacombe. And
that's why you never give up, James, is it? But anyway, Mac Miller.
Yeah, Miller's going to come across the line to take your victory here this evening. Double win for Matt Miller. Dominant. Absolutely dominant.
He's got the Spa trophy across his head. That's the one you want to win. Of course, you'd be in Spa. You're going to be able to definitely enjoy a Spa a little bit later on. Mr. Steve Baker did a great job there and finished in P2. But your driver of the day, it has to be your driver of the day. You cannot deny it. The Clutches of World Racing, J Smart, 10 positions gained and got himself a fantastic podium.
Yeah, he did indeed. I think Smart deserves the driver of the day, to be honest. Up 10. Largest gainer throughout the whole of the field. He should have been there.
Don't forget, Jonas Sylvia with that pit stop strategy that undercut people. Fortunately, didn't quite have the pace towards the end there, but don't take it away from the Colombian driver and the P7 machine. He will start and finish in the same position he started, but he had a shot at the race victory, just could not, unfortunately, hold off Mr. Mac Miller and Steve Baker, who are both leading the championship. And now Mac Miller's going to slice a few points away from Mr. Steve Baker.
Be interesting to see when they're released on where they come out. Just waiting for Tyler Gatke to come across the line. And we will be able to bring you the results.
Now
There
tell
you
me,
go,
James,
Mr. Biggles.
was there a dull moment at all?
No, there never is. Is there? But the results are on the screen for
We
you,
thought,
buddy.
all right. Go ahead.
He didn't get the hint,
I can't
did
read
he?
them. You're going to have to go ahead for that.
You can't read them. Matt Miller
It's
is...
too small on my extra screen. Go ahead.
Oh, God, blimey. Matt Miller is in first. Steve Baker in second. Jay Smart in third. John Silver fourth. Daniel Johnson fifth. Dylan Gonaz sixth. Elliot Borg seventh. Zachary Kokos eighth. Carl Herlix ninth. Anthony Giuliano in 10th. Steve Rubens in 11th. Thomas Boniatti in 12th. Michael Kostick 13th. Mason Sagar 14th. Tyler Gatke 15th. Sean Atkins 2 laps down 16th. Lindsey Green 2 laps as well. And Troy Banks went out early on 19 laps down. So went out on lap 6 for Banks, unfortunately, there. Matt Miller, double victory. Baker, double second. And I think Smart would be kicking himself because he should have got where he's at now in the sprint and he didn't manage to make it work. And I think
that's because the sprint, because he just don't, we won't remind him if we have a chat about La Source, okay? Because he just does he want to talk about that corner? Joseph says Jay Smart, the driver of the day. That's what we voted. Yeah. And I hope you certainly agree with that one because, the Clutches of World Racing team. Well, James, of course, we should speak to the Gladiators, right? They're the ones that had to gruel their way around Rouge, and then once again, wear that T-shirt proudly that says, I survived Rouge multiple times. And they did.
Yeah, we're just trying to see if we can get the guys in for a quick chat. Hope you are well this evening. Don't forget to give the video a big old thumbs up, turn on the bells, and don't forget to subscribe as well. That would be absolutely amazing as we've got such an action-packed week of racing this week as well. And earlier on, we had the Simability from Concord Raceway. Now, if you haven't seen the SK series, definitely go and check them out, because that was somewhat of a chaotic race that Rob Sluter did there, and he did an absolute amazing job trying to keep up with it all, because it looked like it was getting quite chaotic.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job. He had technical issues at the start, and Rob got it sorted. So, yeah, hats off to Rob, because we all know that live, when you've been through these cases before, haven't you, James? Like, things go pearl-shaped very last minute before you're about to broadcast. And, yeah, hats off to Rob for sorting that one out and bringing a fantastic race.
Yeah, absolutely. The schedule is on your screen, guys, at home as well. You can see we've got Mount Panorama next week. Sebring International on the 8th. On the 15th, we're off to Fuji. Then the Red Bull Ring for the February 22nd. March 3rd, Magny-Cours. March 8th, Imola. March 15th, Hungaro Ring. And then we've got Watkins Glen Boot on the 22nd. Nürburgring on the 29th. April the 5th, we go to Detroit. April the 12th, we go to Suzuka. April the 19th, we go to Gilles Villeneuve. And then we round out the season on April 26th at Interlagos. So there we
now,
go.
James, I know you've been around Formula One a while, right? You and I are a little old school. When's the last time we remember Formula One cars traveling around Detroit? They did in the past, right? And Senna and Mansell days and Alain Prost. You remember that?
Yeah, it was a long time ago, though, mind you.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, definitely. Right.
And Watkins Glen, of course, was a lot earlier than what we would remember. But I believe we have drivers ready for an interview.
Yeah, I'm just moving them now. Where else I want? That's it. They didn't realise we were all the way up here.
And we have Steve Baker in here at the moment, James.
In here with us. Steve, good evening. How are you, sir?
How's it going?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good. Thought I threw it away there early on, but was able to rebound a little bit.
Do you think realistically you could have caught Miller? Because I thought maybe one point when you got in front of Smart after your battle, you might have been able to. But it just didn't look the case that you could get close enough.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think Mac was just being kind there. I'm missing some stuff in the high-speed corners, I think, from Mac, and he was flying around the track tonight, so I did my best to try and keep up with him, but still missing a little bit, but thrilled to be able to rebound and come out with a P2, so that was a hell of a fun race between Jay and John and Mac, and glad to be able to have a fun one.
Yeah, because John jumped everybody in the pits. John did a stellar job on his in-lap and come out in first place. I think he was probably surprised, to be honest, as well, but he did an absolute stellar job there. Mac's going to take some points off you off the championship now, right? You were going in here leading as well, but we do head into Mount Panorama. Now, this is going to be a first for me. I think it's going to be a first for Biggles. Is it a first for you racing the W12 through the mountain section?
Racing, yeah, I've tested and messed around with it there several times, and it's about as chaotic as you would think. So it'll be interesting to do that with a full field of cars. I think it'll be survival.
I'm scared. I've got to be honest.
You and me both.
Mate, I'm going to think I'm going to have to go to the bookies and put a bet on how many people are actually going to finish the race, because the mountain section is bad enough in a GT3 or a Radical or whatever, but let alone throwing a W12 down there. Just one final question before you. How do you prepare for a race like that? Is there mentally a preparation feature you've got to go through? Because it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, you cry a little bit, and then you pray.
So what do you do? Pray at the top and say thank you at the bottom?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that sounds about what I do as well. But Steve, thank you so much for joining me. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before you leave the booth this evening?
Yeah, shout out to the guys out there racing up there, Jay, Mac, John. That was a hell of a lot of fun battling. Thanks you guys for the broadcasts. They're top notch, and love watching them every week. And shout out to LSRL.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much, Steve. And we look forward to having a chat with you. Hopefully, once everybody survived Bathurst.
Yeah, hope so.
Hope so. Take care, bud.
You too.
Right, let's bring in Jay Smart into the booth. Jay, up 10 positions Not great, a great start in the sprint, locking up out of La Source and spinning up his tyres and going round too quickly, but made up for it in the feature by gaining 10 places and a podium there. Good evening, Mr. Smart. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. Not too bad. You gave yourself a big old job in that feature race, and you managed to pull it off and get into third place. But yeah, it didn't go too well, did it, in the sprint?
Yeah. So basically, I just spun up the rear at the start. I did like 100-meter burnout, and then going into turn one, I think the rears were just on fire, and they locked up immediately. I mean, it completely caught me off guard. They must have been so hot. I spun around, and then hopefully didn't ruin too many people's races. I felt pretty bad about that. But yeah, then coming back into the main race, I just knew I had to try to get positions at the start, and then do my best to just keep a clean race. And luckily, the guys in the front were battling enough, I think, that I was able to catch up to them. I think if there had been a bit more of a gap and they weren't battling each other, I don't think there's any way I could have caught them with like the DRS trains and the drafting you get and everything. So I was pretty fortunate about that. And then yeah, I mean, what a race. I think all four of us, it was super fun. It was one of the most fun races I've had without there actually being that much passing.
Yeah.
But just how close we were through almost half of that race. It was really exciting. Hopefully it looks good too for everyone else.
Yeah, it was really fun for us. I think one of the interesting things as well is we obviously saw John Silver go in and come out in front of everybody, which I think which was massive for everybody here, because then everybody kind of went through and sort of overtook him, which was a bit of a shame from John's point of view, because he looked like he got an absolute masterstroke.
Yeah, it was the undercut of the century. And I reacted to him. It felt a little early, but I knew that from the way the rest of the race was going, I think I was catching John slowly. I wasn't sure if I'd catch him by the end of the race, but I figured if I stayed on the same strategy, maybe I could get him. And I figured Mac was a lost cause, and hopefully Steve would react to whatever we were doing. And I think it ended up well in the end, where it was kind of anyone's race in 10 laps of that.
I think the interesting
of that battle.
I think the interesting thing, Jay, as well, is once you'd cleared Baker initially before Steve had come back at you, I thought you were going to push on, because, you know, you'd done an absolutely stellar job all race, to be honest, and I thought you were going to push on and push a little bit farther, because you did look quick and quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. You know, by my recognition, you've got the fastest lap of the race on a 1:45 dead. Matt Miller's 1:45.15, so you got that as well. But, you know, we've come from the mountains of Belgium to the mounting of Mount Panorama next week. You know,
God, don't remind me of that.
Yeah, okay, Jay. So what is the J Smart preparation technique for Mount Panorama?
I think I'm just going to run laps and try not to crash. I mean, my strategy on Long Beach was just keep it clean. I think on tracks like that, I have a tendency to make some mistakes that, even if they're small mistakes, they're really consequential. So I think for Mount Panorama, I'll probably have a similar strategy and just stay in the points for the championship. Honestly, I think trying to fight for a win on that track might be dangerous, especially if Nathan Graham is back in the mix too. Steve will probably be strong there too, and Mac as well, and everyone. Elliott too. I think he's strong on that track. So we've got a bunch of guys that I think will be strong contenders to win that race, and I think my strategy is going to be to finish. Honestly,
I think I said to Steve, I'm going to go and have a bet at the bookies to see how many cars will finish that race next week. I think it's going to be incredible. I think, 1 to 10. That's where I'm going, between that range. Yep. But look, Jay, thank you so much for joining us in the booth. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before you leave this evening?
Yeah, Anthony and Joe for running the league, and all the other admins, Ryan, Elliott, and then all the racers have just been. It's a great league, and the competition has been great. I think John, Mac, and Steve, and all of us had a great run in the front, and I think, I want to thank them for all the respectful racing and everything. We try to do our best, and everyone else that's a part of this league, and you guys as well. The broadcasts have been great.
And also, just to let you know, Joseph Murata officially gave J Smart Driver of the Day.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if you get anything for that. You know what I mean? I don't know if Joseph's going to send you a trophy or a big bottle of champagne or, you know, he might give you extra points in the championship. I'm not entirely sure what you get for driver of the day. But yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. I don't know if it was deserved because I put myself in that position, but I appreciate it.
Take it while you get it, Jay. It's free. Shh, don't say anything.
Exactly.
Oh, man, you take care, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week.
All right. Thank you both.
Bye. All right, let's pull in your victor here this evening, Mr. Matt Miller, into the booth. Good evening, Mac. How are you?
Hello, gentlemen. Good. How are you guys?
I'm not bad at all. We had fun. Me and Biggles sat here watching some epic racing. We watched one man take a double victory here at the iconic Spa circuit. I will ask though, when you saw John Silver coming out of the pits in front of you, did you panic? Because he pulled the undercut of the century on that one.
Panic? No. Definitely didn't go according to plan. To be honest, I don't know if you guys caught it, but the lap before I almost drove into the wall going through Puhan. So I was just happy to keep driving the car at that point. But no, that was definitely not the plan. Had some work to do, especially with Steve and Jay behind. I really didn't have time to really waste around fighting them. Really wanted to get the move done quick and try and get some space between us.
Yeah, and you managed to do it towards the end of the race after the pit stop cycle. You know, we were expecting medium to softs. The guys down in Bullshift Racing, Elliot Borg and Tamas went in on lap 5 and come out on the hards. Tamas made it work a little bit better more than Tamas. Elliot got 7th there. So they did a stellar job as well. But from your perspective, how tough of it is a race? Is it to be in a race like that when you know that you've got 4 guys around you in Silver, in Smart, in Baker that could all put you under pressure?
Well, you definitely don't want to make any tiny mistakes, as we saw that, almost resulted in losing the win. In a way, though, it kind of keeps you more focused, having something to push against. Sometimes when you're driving alone up front, you kind of just zone out, really, and that's when I make those dumb mistakes. So I'd rather almost have a little something pushing me along, just keeping my mind a little bit sharp.
Yeah, it's normally when I end up, not that I end up in the lead very often, Mac, right? You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. However, I did lead briefly in a TCR race at Magny Court earlier on today, until I did do one of them dumb mistakes that we talk about. But you do kind of zone out, and you do end up thinking about what you're going to do tomorrow or what you're going to do after the race or something, and then it just all goes wrong. But you've managed to stay focused for this one. Going next week, are you going to be able to manage to stay focused for that period of time going up through the mountains of Mount Panorama?
I don't have high hopes. I'm going to do what I can, but that track's a death trap in GT cars. So, you just tap the wall and you're probably done for in these F1 cars.
Do you think, though, I was just sitting thinking about it briefly, it's not the first sector, and it's not really heading up over the top of Solomon Park down into the mountain. It's that brief left, right, left, right, left, right, left through the wiggly bit that is the death part, isn't it, really? Because the rest of the circuit's fine, isn't it?
Well, fine's a strong word. It's better, for sure.
It's called the dipper, guys. There you go.
Oh, okay,
but
we're through the dipper.
With how long these cars are, too, they're really not all that nimble when they don't have downforce. So I actually have never... I know the... what is it? The series that follows the actual F1 series went there last season, I believe. But I've never actually driven these here, so this is gonna be a learning experience. I'm pretty much just accepted it's gonna go on the wall, but we're gonna do what we can.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll drop you a message during the week once I've taken the car out, because I'm definitely going to go and have a go. I don't know if I'm going to survive, but I'm going to go and have a go. And if I survive, it's not going to be going through there very fast. I've got to be honest. But I want to see how it handles. So I'm definitely going to go out in a practice session and see how these cars get on in the W12. Mac, thank you so much again for joining us. Congratulations on your double victory. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before you leave the booth this evening?
Oh man, well, shout out to Steve, John, Jay. That was a phenomenal race up front. I expected it to be tight, but this was a lot closer than I expected. So that was a great race, guys. Thanks for that.
No worries there, Matt. Well, look forward to seeing you next week at the sunny mountains of Bathurst, mate. And you take care.
Thank you, boys. You too.
See you later. Okay, so they're being realistic about it, aren't they? With Parfitt next week, Biggles. Survive maybe, seeing how many deaths they're going to get, possibly. Well, what do you think?
James, they're all a bunch of. All right, it's the mountain, okay? It's Australia. It's a testing zone for Australian skills. Australian drivers done on Australia Day as well, to have Australian Day. Yes, the mountain's there. Conquer it. It's not your mortal enemy. You got to buy it flowers, take it out to dinner, okay? Give it names, call it sweetheart, whatever you need to do. That's how you conquer the mountain. That's what we do as Australians. So who does it next week, as you mentioned? Well, you're going to come out big time. And there's going to be huge gaps between the drivers as well, too. And there's also going to be huge DNFs.
Fruit and Dipper, though. That's a different story, mate. I don't care how many laps I've run in a GT3, in a Radical, in an F3. I've hit the wall and I've crashed and I've ripped some part of the car and left it.
That's the reason, James, why I don't loan you my GTR 32 Skyline. That was one of the lap records around Bathurst back in the day, of course. That's the reason why I wouldn't loan you that car, mate.
No, don't.
Because it's conquered the mountain, so any car can conquer the mountain. Yeah, but what a race!
I would run through there really slowly, though, to make sure. But Steve is right, though. You pray at the top. You pray at the top and thank at the bottom. Because that's the only way you can survive. And
the Formula One cars are very light, right? Remember the V8 supercars, exactly, I think what Mac was talking about before. They're the series that follow up the Formula One that do go, and the V8 supercars naturally around Australia. Basically our GT3 cars. They're, the touring cars. They are heavy, right? So when you're going down the mountain, they're kind of hugging the road. Like these Formula One cars, mate, they're light, they're feathers. So you're lifting and you're essentially gliding down the hill at that point. So you become like a fighter pilot.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an amazing one. I think it is. And I'm definitely going to take the W12 out there. And I might even do an AI race just to really test my boat to see how many AIs.
Can't wait to see that. Put that on your network and we'll broadcast that one, James. But yeah, it's been great.
But don't forget, guys, we are back tomorrow night with some more Radical Race Series action. Tomorrow, and we've also got the Radical Sim Racing as well. And funny enough, they're at Bathurst. So tune in for that one. And don't forget, we've got the SRL round 6 from Catalonia for the GT4s. And then you've got myself and Biggles on the IGL at 8:30 Eastern Time on Friday. And that's coming from Circuit Zolder. And then we've got the Big Dreams Little Voices charity event on the Saturday, guys. You can get yourselves involved as well. Link in the description. And the Discord invite as well. So I don't think there's many spaces left now. We are close to the 45 grid.
Yeah, just to let everybody know, James, about that one real quick. You get a kids cast you.
Yes.
That's going to be fun, right? I want to hear the kids casting. They're probably going to destroy us and our career ever of casting, right? They're going to be the new generation. But that's going to be fun to listen to, all for charity.
Yeah, all for charity. So all for the Rainbow Trust. We do have kids in the booth casting with us. Some of the kids will be casting, will be commentating on their dads. So that's going to be... I'm really stoked about this. I think it's going to be an absolutely amazing event, and we have got a fair few children involved as well. So get yourselves involved for that as well. But don't forget, guys, also, you can head over to the JPB Instagram. There is a giveaway currently running at the moment. When we hit 300 followers, we will give £50 worth of iRacing dollars to one lucky winner as a big thank you for the support as well. But I think, guys, I've spoken more than enough this evening. Biggles has always got to go away and put peas on his chops. So from myself and the mighty D Biggles, you take care. Have a great week. And you never know. Might see you on the track sometime. Good night.